It's a place to be. They have a huge bacon extravaganza as well, which is really cool as part of the design. Then you have Startup Exchange as well, and Green Tech Meetup. Startup Exchange is at First Hop, and then Green Tech Meetup is at Green Bench right down the street, so not too far at all. And then you also have in August the Etsy Craft Competition that's coming here, hosted by the St. Pete Greenhouse, and will be a really cool event if you like crafts and want to know how can you actually be profitable at doing them. So it's a really cool thing. You find out more about it on the Greenhouse's website. And next up, we have Carmen with Toonari Media with us.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. My name is Carmen. I'm from Toonari Media, or Toonari Corporation. We changed the name a little bit around. And we provide research, intelligence, and also technology. So we're kind of like a hybrid model and providing managed services. So imagine we have a team that builds technology. We have another group that actually provides intelligence as a former intelligence analyst with the NSA, for example, or other government organizations. And then we have another group who's actually building other things too that are related to both of it, but they're going to be more into the AI parts and machine learning and stuff like that. So we actually serving individuals. So if you have a missing person, for example, we will try to find her if it's a child, a parent, or whatever it is. We're also serving organizations. So we're already working, and so we're working for attorneys currently, insurance companies, larger insurance companies, and other organizations. We already started also meeting with folks at McDill for the intelligence lab, write them some of our work that we're doing as well. So it would be, for example, identifying terrorism, things like that. And so the internet, so all of you probably go always on the internet. All of you going always on the internet. Oh. They instructed me to stay in the middle. Okay, so all of us go usually on the internet. And usually we don't see any bad things really. Sometimes we see some bad things, most likely not. But the internet has also like a little bit of a dark side. So there are things like where you can murder by hire. You pay with big funds, $5,000 US, you can hire somebody to kill your wife, for example, or your husband in this case. Or buy drugs, other people, etc. So on the other side, there's also cyberbullying, which is a big issue in the state of Florida, for example. If you look at the teenagers that you see there, they all have one thing in common. They have been victims of cyberbullying. And then they have a second thing in common. They all committed suicide. Violence, another issue. So there's no early warning system out there, like a radar for earthquakes and things like this. So that is one thing that we try to provide, an early warning system. So killers, or for example mass shootings, which they are usually between 14 and 15 or 16 a year, they usually leave clues on the internet. So saying, hey, I'm going to go to this school, or I'm going to do X, Y, Z, I'm going to kill you. And people, of course, will listen, and it doesn't happen that many times, but if you would pretty much scan the web, identify the information, collect the information, and link it, you would actually be able to identify, hey, there might be a school shooting occurring, on September 26th, for example. And fraud, another one, all of us pay insurance, and we pay more and more. We're working already with the insurance companies. There seem to be really a lot of fraud in regards to workers' compensation, auto insurance, which is like, one of them. Of course, I don't know, we could probably save them a lot of money, which we're already starting doing. However, I don't know if you get the money back with lower rates, which is pretty much unlikely, but this is a big market for us too. So workers' compensation, personal injury, auto accidents, but then also HR could be one, for example. So HR looking at, for example, harassment, things like that. Now, we created the solution, so there's some folks from Microsoft, some folks from the military intelligence, and then some folks from Nelnet, for example, and from American Express, and they want to American Express did analytics, Microsoft machine learning, search engines. So we came up with the idea that we could create an early warning system. So if you advertise, for example, as you know, you go to Amazon, they follow you all the time. So on Google, you see an ad, you look at something, you see the same ad coming up, another game. So when we came up with the ideas, instead of doing customer segmentation with millions of people, in this case, we're looking at individuals and then linking them to each other. So imagine on Facebook, for example, which I'm not supposed to talk too much about it, but imagine you could link all of the people that are friends with you, for example, And let's say you work in organization A. Some of these people are not supposed to be your friends. I don't know, trade secrets, whatever it is. But we can identify this in this case too. So there are a lot of options there. And this is Tomoko. This is our application. We put a face to it because we don't feel like it's a real application. Our goal is to not make it a real application, to make it more an entity in this case. So what we identified is that in this market for intelligence and security, there's no other competitor, which is hard to believe. That's why we keep searching, searching, searching. And our goal was to become the competitor or the market leader by the end of next year, or maybe middle of next year. Unfortunately, we're already going to be the market leader probably this year. Of course, nobody knows about it, but we will be. So our software goes along actually very well, and building very well. And our main goal is next year, actually, what we would like to do is we go to the CeBIT and introduce it also to the world market. So CeBIT is a technology fair in Germany, so one of the largest ones. So, I'm rambling always, and I probably rambled just now. Okay, so proprietary technology. So what we do is we go through, so imagine use Facebook or social media, for example, we go through this part. Then we go through the internet, public records, etc. So instead of now just going through it, we're also linking it, or we're also applying keyword libraries. So imagine a large library like the St. Petersburg Library of Books, just keywords for drugs. Just keywords for gangs, for example, which gangs, their geographic location, they have their own language. Or it could be, for example, physical activities, which would help attorneys, for example, insurance companies, etc. Somebody puts a claim up. In addition to it, face recognition as well. If we get a picture, we can run this as well too. And this is kind of like the market opportunity or overview. So where we see ourselves right now is here are PIs, for example. PIs have the big handicap. They go out, they sit there for a day or two, and they watch in person. So we have the information, or we know where the person is going to go. We know they're going to go to a basketball game on Saturday at 12 p.m. So somebody just has to sit there for an hour, take pictures, and that's pretty much it. Okay, this is the end.
But if people have very incisive questions that might relate to the next few slides.
Like who and why do they need it?
Thank you very much, Sophie. So, legal, for example, would be one. So faster, we're providing information much faster than we do. If we compare private investigator reports to our reports, you get a lot more, and you get a lot more evidence too. Same with the insurance companies. Insurance companies reduce settlements. They can decline settlements, but also confirm settlements. So in some cases, they don't want to pay $300 to an attorney per hour when they know, hey, this is a valid case already. We don't have to prove this. That's settled. Okay. And education, and that's something we have hit like a real wall. Cyberbullying, for example. So when we talk to parents, they love it. They want to do it. When we talk to schools, they hate it. They don't want to do it because more information means more reliability. So, which the door is pretty much closed too for that one. HR is another thing where we have seen a lot of good responses for harassment, things like this, employee issues, but again also workers' compensation and stuff like that. Now I'm putting it away, I guess I don't touch it anymore. And where's the question?
How do you avoid the human rights and civil rights violations?
It's just public information in this case. So you could actually do the same thing, but it might take a year to find all the information. So you could do all these things by hand too.
So what stage are you in now?
I would say it depends how you define stage. So the stage to operate is there. But the stage to create an entity like a strong AI, we're probably 2-3 years away if we can make it. But we're already there to fully operate.
So I'm in the stage of the business. So you have paying customers?
We've paid customers already. We have an office, we've paid customers, we're working with some of the larger insurance companies already together, some attorneys. But we need more customers because all of the money is usually in the technology, so we're always broke, no matter how much money we have.
If a customer, purchased your service or product, how does it work from their perspective? Do they search for a particular individual and get all the information on that, or
So-
do they kind of start top down and say, give me information about all individuals that you found suspicious looking stuff about?
So what it is We don't provide actually the software. So when we do the intel, we're going to provide a case management solution that we extend, a module that we take out. The actual intelligence solution we don't provide. So we provide a managed service. So it means you would hire us, we use the application in-house, plus we use real intelligence analysts with it. So most of them have an active top secret security clearance. So your data and everything is fine if you give us information.
So let's say my name is Mary Smith, and you put together a profile on you. What's your liability when you've gotten the wrong Mary Smith?
We usually don't.
Thank you.
And the reports also state it's just public information, so whatever is out there on the internet. So if it's used to be in court, it still has to be confirmed with a picture or stuff like that. But it's all public information, so this way. Data. We can use, you can give us, let's say you're a large company, you have all the emails that are there. We can take all the information and analyze it. So what we're doing right now is analyze it, but we're creating also utilizing a visualization engine right now. So visualize, because we noticed that we're getting actually too much information. Even if it's valid, it's just too much for a trader, it's too much for everybody. So the visualization engine is providing the links already, make it really like almost much better than an analytics tool like Omniture or another place, or the applications that are out there. Because actually we find actually more information, more data that's linked to each other, that you can link in certain ways. So visualization engine is the next thing. But for example, to your question, we can do this, we can do pretty much with any data. We can analyze it, predict it, model it, whatever you want to do with it. Was this good enough?
But I didn't understand how the first half answered it, and that's probably because I just don't understand enough of what you're doing.
If
but
you could tell us, look at all the gun owners, if they buy, if you could even say, you could even find out all the gun owners, to give us a list of all of the gun owners, and we could even, if we would go to the marketing box, could even identify if they live in a single family house, what they buy for breakfast. Because all this information is available, massive, but you have to purchase it, but it's available. And then you have to pretty much tie it back to other information items.
I know some folks that have developed some personal VPN access for countries where folks can't get into social media type programs or internet access. And it seems like that is becoming more popular even in the United States for people to have like roaming VPNs, personal VPNs. Would that block this whole, what visibility to what people are doing?
Not really. It wouldn't make a difference. So it depends also if you operate in these countries. Most of these countries that have that many restrictions, we may want to not operate there since we would like to work with the US government. So it may not be the case, but it wouldn't make any difference because if we look at person X and we have the Twitter account, doesn't matter if they go through something else, we still identify it.
Okay.
We can actually trace also where they go. So it means from here timeline to this.
This is very interesting predictive technology. You talked about not only those four markets behind you, but lots more segments beyond that. So have you been predicting which markets your go-to-market plan should focus on?
The Innovation Center helped us largely with it, and we have predicted our best market for it because it's something
What are
new.
the 2 or 3 that you really ought to be focusing on and have been focusing on and build a go-to-market plan around it?
We haven't done that yet. We're kind of like building 24/7, then we start servicing customer, and then we try to sell too. And we kind of like, we identified, we do testing now with the sales, so how many calls we place, some basic stuff right now. But it's not very sophisticated, so we're using a little bit of some other applications there, but not sophisticated. It has to be better, so we're not that good with that.
What if a criminal doesn't want to be investigated under your system? What should he do?
If a criminal wants us to research,
Doesn't want to.
we usually, so we work usually with companies. If it's an individual, we take a look at the individual too. So if it's, for example, a father says, hey, I'm out of state and I want to find my child, but then we take a quick look and we know the man lives already in Tampa for his whole life, so he's probably not looking just for his child, or this child is not supposed to see him. So we look these things up. We don't have a lot of individuals as clients, so the majority is really organizations and companies. For individuals, it's probably most likely what we get lots of requests for adultery. So we get a lot of requests for that. But we always stay a little bit away from it right now because we don't have a private investigation license, so not a theft license agency. And then it's hard for them, for us to explain to them. So it's like more of a learning curve.
Couple comments. One, there's less a lot of understanding of product right. There's a lot of competition in this space.
There's not
electronics. There's a dozen Twitter predictive analysis. So
marketing stuff, you're talking about advertising, yes. For intelligence?
Yeah, I'm talking about print intelligence. There's a lot of companies in this space. Then also, just a comment to your point, which I think a lot of people in the room are thinking, is that the course we're starting to go towards what they call like a mosaic theory, where you can take a whole bunch of public data from a lot of different sources and put it all together in one spot, and then you know everything about somebody. So the course are starting to go more towards, you can't pull it all together to make a profile of somebody, then it becomes inadmissible because you know too much about them based on all these little pockets of knowledge.
Yeah, no, pretty much. I mean, the problem is with social media, it's wonderful, it's connected. But the problem with that is you find everything. Facebook is using everything you say for advertising, every single word, everything that is in there. And in regards to the competition, there's no competition. Now, the X1, you have to apply one keyword by one. So it's too hard. We apply millions of keywords at the same time. So if you're an investigator and you want to use X1, for example, you sit there for 5 years. It's going to be too long.
But maybe I should understand what you're promoting, because if you want to know about mom threats or school shootings or any of that, and there's
in this case, if it's like a school shooting, a school, for example, would be our client. They say, look at our school, look at the comments that are being placed, etc., etc. Then we scan this information, we utilize keyword libraries, and then pretty much imagine that there's a red dot. You see a red dot coming in. There's somebody talking about suicide, somebody talking about that. That information we provide to the school in this case. So it's less we look at everybody, but we really don't look at everybody. We're looking only at the things that we think is needed in this case. And we personally don't look at all of it because all the data goes into the bucket.
How do you price your services?
Currently, a standard report is $950, and then we have usually a seminar once a month. And hence the seminar, the standard report is $650. With the standard report, you have the authentication that you can use the report, and you have live links to data or live links to, for example, the sites as well for 36 months. Because some of the sites, the content goes down, so we provide the actual links. Plus, we provide web captures that we're hosting on another facility. So when you're in court or somebody is in court 3 years later, they usually have to probably click on it and nothing is there. In our case, everything is still there.
When you produce a report for somebody, how long is it?
Well, it can be, so I'll give you a comparison. Private investigator creates a report, same case, 20 pages with 10 pages of fluff. No real evidence. We create a report, and that's not always the case. We have 300 pages, and we have probably 100 pictures that can be considered real good evidence.
Have you ever heard of snap trends?
No, not really.
That's one that might be similar. But one thing I was wondering is there a lot of geospatial capabilities and the information that you're collecting? Can you determine the location of a lot of these?
There's a lot of geodata. So what we really do, we haven't invented anything really new. The AI part is going to be really the more new part in this case. What we took is our knowledge from the advertising part, pretty much all the information out being gathered, etc., and then analyze. Geo, for example, is an important part. So in advertising, you usually use geographic location. So you use, for example, the zip code, the street, for example. You identify the geographical location by the terms that they're using on the Facebook account or on Google, etc., etc. So yeah, geo is very important. It's something, and there are probably even better ones out there than what we're doing it. What we're right now doing is we're probably going to go more for the geo part, more to third parties, getting some of the geo information.
So from what I'm hearing, it sounds like your service is similar to private investigators, but much more advanced in certain areas. I realize they're not one-to-one.
It is similar for this one aspect that we work for the insurance companies. Our legal is of course working for example, for the U.S. government, we get larger contracts worldwide. So that's a lot of our work.
My question was, I know that private investigators have a lot of laws and licenses they have to go. I I was wondering what rules or policies you have in place or laws are applicable to keep the power of the service from accidentally being used for evil. For example, say, there's a Yakuza and he wants to find, someone who's in the U.S. Witness Protection Program, or his wife who ran away to America to get away from, his authority in Japan. What do you do? How do you know that you don't accidentally?
We haven't actually thought about it because we haven't had any real clients, no personal clients really. So it was something we were looking into it, but it's like, it seemed to be more and more we look into it, like, for example, adultery, or adultery maybe might be okay, but for example, missing children, or missing child that, or missing a person, a woman that left with her child. It's hard for us to make the definition if that person has a good intent or bad intent. So that's why we haven't taken these cases, for example. And we try to stay away from some criminal things. So we provide consulting, but that's pretty much it for these cases. But this is not going to be, this is just going to be a tiny piece of the business.
How do you keep them from sneaking that in as a corporate case? For example, the Yakuza controls somewhere between 1.25% of all construction in Japan. So they could hire you as a construction company, purporting to be asking about some sort of insurance.
If
fraud
that
or
person is in the
something
witness
like that.
protection program and we find it, then I would say the witness protection program is not that good.
I guess that's my question. What can the 1 million community do for you?
We need more clients, more clients. We need to build more technology, so lots of more clients. So if you know an attorney, insurance company, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever you can send our way would be wonderful. We also have an event on July 29 and July 30th, where we actually provide also training how you can search